I have a story to share with you that deserves to be better known. It's the story about a handful of ordinary people whose actions helped lift millions of their neighbors out of poverty. The year, 1978. The place, Shaogang, a small village in rural China. At that time, private property was illegal in Chinese agriculture. Beginning in the 1950s, the communist government had abolished it in favor of top-down management and collective ownership. But that system had failed spectacularly. Instead of prosperity, it had brought famine. Even though each family received a fair share of the group's produce, there never seemed to be enough. Back then, even 1 grain of rice belonged to the group, said Yan Jingchang, one of the farmers. No one owned anything. To him, the problem was obvious. We work hard, we don't work hard. Everyone gets the same, he says. So people don't want to work. In desperation, he called a secret meeting with the other farmers. At great personal risk, they agreed to divide communal lands into individual parcels. 17 farmers signed the contract, which they hid in the thatched roof of one of their houses. According to this contract, each farmer would work on their own land, and any food left over after paying the government would go to them. Yan Jingchang describes what happened next. Before the contract, he said, farmers would drag themselves out into the field only when the village whistle blew to start work. After the contract, families went out before dawn. We all secretly competed, says Yan. Everyone wanted to produce more than the next person. It was the same land, the same tools, the same people. But by changing the rules, by saying you get to keep some of what you grow, the results were almost miraculous. Eventually, their scheme was discovered by the authorities. They had defied the law, and yet the success of their scheme was hard to ignore. Ultimately, the case was considered at the highest levels of the Chinese government, and the chairman of the Communist Party, Deng Xiaoping, decided to expand the experiment, starting small and at first only in agriculture. They permitted private enterprise and competition. After years of being suppressed by their own government, the latent creative energy of the people was released. Private property and profit-seeking were no longer forbidden, and for the next 20 years, the Chinese economy grew faster than any other economy in the world. Private property worked in China as it works everywhere, because it fits human nature. I want to share with you 4 reasons why private property promotes economic prosperity. First, it creates an incentive for each owner to be more productive. When we get to keep the fruits of our own labor, we work harder and become more productive. The more we go, the more we get. Second, it encourages the use of imaginative, rational thought. Other creatures are driven primarily by instinct to find what they need from their environment as it is, focusing only on the present. Think of the cow eating grass or the owl catching mice. But we humans don't live off the fruits of the earth as we find them. We develop and modify those resources to make them more productive. Often our labor is devoted to projects that take years to mature, but we undertake them because we know that they generate benefits for years to come. Property rights provide exclusive control over the resource for an extended period and the expectation that the owners will benefit when the projects finally bear fruit. Third, it promotes accountability and justice. If owners neglect or damage their resources, they personally bear the loss. If they're used in ways that harm others, the owner is liable for damages. On the other hand, if owners invest in their resources and use them productively, they will benefit. Private ownership implies that each person is entitled to control the fruits of their own labor. They choose freely whether to use it, give it away, or trade it. This implies that every voluntary exchange is fair in the sense that each party receives something they value more than what they give up. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Fourth, Private property harmonizes the interests of the individual with their community. Every prosperous community is a network of interdependent, complementary relationships. Each of us has a unique role to play in that network. Each person exercises some responsibility over the resources available to the community. The additional productivity associated with private ownership helps grow the economic surplus available to others. Think of the Chinese farmers who couldn't produce enough food even for their own children. After privatization, they were producing enough to feed their own children and many others as well. The same economic surplus also gives the owners something to share with others. It enables them to support charities, religious institutions, hospitals, the arts, education, and recreation. It provides local homeowners and businesses with a stake in the future viability of their communities because the value of their property depends on it. This motivates them to participate in and contribute to the activities and amenities that improve the quality of life in that community. For these reasons, and many others, private property promotes productivity and human flourishing. It is a natural human right.